you spend a lot of your time raising money and looking at where it needs to be directed and where you can amass it to direct to these projects. Can you talk about a couple of the projects?
Oh yeah, we've got we've been very involved in over a dozen projects. We have some that are longer, and we've been working with longer than others. Marie's already mentioned the Hyacinth Macaw project, which
right.
is Projeto Arara Azul in the Pantanal of Brazil, and that would be a gold standard of a parrot conservation project where Dr. Neva Gedges has, again, devoted her life, and her field team has devoted their lives to the successful work with this particular parrot, the Hyacinth Macaw. And it's a very majestic macaw, a very, very large macaw. And she's, as Marie mentioned, she's done amazing work, largely working with the people. And we found that most of the projects involve working with the local people. If the local people don't understand that they have a rare and majestic creature that they are responsible for their stewardship, then they really don't get on board. They don't understand why this parrot could be important to them. And so, for example, one of our projects is we call the Spix Macaw School Project. And the Spix Macaw, the last Spix Macaw became extinct in the wild in October of 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it had been in the wild as a lone parrot for about almost 18 years. That bird is now only found in captivity, and there's a consortium of breeders that are breeding the last 87 Spix macaws with the sole purpose to reintroduce them back into their habitat. So Parrots International has been working at the habitat to get the capacity building and educate the local population on why this parrot would be so important to them. So, for example, we've adopted this school it's a school for children up to about 13 to 14 years old, which they're considered adults at that point in this very poor area of Brazil. And we're essentially telling them that the school and the money that is funneled into their little tiny community is a gift from the Spix Macaw. Even though the Spix Macaw doesn't exist, the Spix Macaw wants to exist back with them. And so we're teaching them how valuable this particular bird is to them and their heritage.
How beautiful.
And Parrots International also went in with the purchase of land in that area where the last Spix Macaw was seen in the wild. And there's a farm there that was purchased called Gangora Farm that has 400 hectares, which equals about 1,000 acres. And we're trying to reserve different portions of land to set aside for future reintroductions. That's the hope of the organizations that are trying to save these parrots, that someday they'd be back in the wild. So we started somewhere, and we thought land and the land where the last bird was seen would be a good place to start.
That's beautiful. So you're really doing a whole systems approach to solving this problem and to conserving the beautiful wildlife of these birds.
Right. Other organizations have jumped in as well and purchased other areas that are attached to this farm. So we're going to be able to have a good piece of land there and try to make a good place to reintroduce the bird.
Yeah, we're up to about 6,000 acres at this point.
Wow.
That is reserved.
That's incredible.
For habitat restoration.
I would imagine that in this calling, when you go to these different countries and you're working with the local peoples, that other things may come along that you didn't plan on. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, many things have come along that we never thought we were going to get involved with. We never thought we would be working so closely with the community, with the children. We've visited schools that had no pencils, no papers. We bought them desks. We've bought supplies. We've helped rebuild a schoolhouse. We've helped pay for a little boy's surgery. He was not able to sleep at night. He was not able to breathe. He needed an operation. Parrots International made a large donation along with a couple other organizations, and we got this child to have his medical treatment. I mean, there's many different things. There's the transportation that takes these children to school. We were paying for someone in a pickup truck to take them to school, to get them hot lunches. We've had a new restroom put in. They've never had utility. They've never had hot and cold water and a restroom. So there's a lot of different things that we never thought we would be working with. There's museums, there's pictures, there's all kinds of different things that we've come in contact with because of the parrots. So it's been a fun journey. Even with our own parrots, we didn't know what to expect when we first got our own parrots, and it's been a pleasant journey.
It sounds like you have a calling, because it sounds like whatever shows up in your sphere, that there's a calling to correct. It sounds like you're correcting it, or you're building what you can along the way.
Yeah, and it's good. It gives us a lot of pleasure to be able to put in a little money. Like I say, the South American countries are the places that we can reach just because of our location. We can't go to Australia, we can't go to Africa and hold down our job and make money and be able to donate. So we kind of concentrate on South and Central America in that our money can go further and we can make the most difference. It's not that we don't like the other birds. We have other birds that are cockatoos and things that we're so interested in, but we just can't be everywhere. So there's people that do that and help us out and come to the symposium, and they explain about what's happening in those countries, so they share that information with us too.
Beautiful. Is it hard to be here in California knowing this whole other side of your lives?
No, it works out fine. We spend some years we'll be over 6 weeks in the field, which is quite a bit of. That's essentially every spare moment, every vacation that we can possibly spare. We spend in the field with the projects, and when we're not in the field with the projects, then we're spending most of our evenings and spare time working with Parrots International fundraising, or to create the annual symposiums, or working with donors. It's busy, but it's, I feel that we're being effective both in the United States and in the field.
How is your volunteer base, and what are your plans for the growth of that base? And you know how some people can have too few volunteers, and then other organizations, they have a lot more than they planned on, but they don't know how to utilize them properly. Where does Parrots International stand right now?
We could use more volunteers.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we could always use more volunteers, both in helping with the work that's done in the United States, which would be the education work and the annual symposiums and presentations, and also in the volunteer projects in the field. And we have a lot of great volunteers that have taken their vacations, gone into the field, into Chile or Costa Rica or Brazil, and worked with the projects for sometimes 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes more. So Parrots International is an all-volunteer organization. We have no paid staff, so we depend completely on volunteers.
Do you notice that certain countries are more receptive to your work? You work with a lot of countries here. You're in Costa Rica, you're in Brazil, you're in Peru, you're in the Bahamas, right?
Correct.
And you're in the Amazon?
In the Amazon itself, no. We
Bonaire. You're in Bonaire in Argentina, right?
We haven't spent much time in Argentina. We've been in Chile.
Okay.
And very close to Argentina. With one of our projects is about 30 minutes from the Argentina border, but not in Argentina itself. We have another project that we're working with in Iguazu Falls in Brazil, which is on the border with Argentina, and the two of them share